Hello everyone, I welcome you all for the course Engineering Metrology. So the today's topic is on previous year's question paper discussion on linear and angular measurements, interferometry, straightness, flatness and parallelism. And the questions given in the GATE exam, IES, ISRO examinations. So this is about the content of the today's topic. So this question is given in 1989 in GATE exam. So appropriate instrument to check the flatness of slip gauge. So the options are a dial indicator, pneumatic comparator, optical interferometer, toolmaker's microscope with the projection facility. So let us say we'll see one by one. So here if you see the dial indicator, this can be used for geometrical forms, finding the errors in geometrical forms, ovality, out of roundness, taper, etc. So the dial indicators cannot check the flatness of the slip gauge. So it is a wrong option. And also pneumatic comparators can be applied to find the external and internal diameters, thickness. So this pneumatic comparator also cannot be used for measuring the flatness of the slip gauge. And the toolmaker's microscope is used for screw threads, gears, and other small machine parts, dimensions of small parts, inspection of tapers and small components, etc. So toolmaker's microscope cannot be used for checking the flatness of the slip gauge. So the option is optical interferometer. So interferometer and optical flats are used for measuring the flatness of the slip gauge. But interferometer is more accurate than the optical flat. So we can also use the interferometers for determining the length of the slip gauges by direct reference to the wavelength of the light. So the correct option is optical interferometer. Next, the flatness of slip gauges is checked with interferometer, optical flat, electronic comparator, linear measuring machine. So as we have already seen in the previous slide, so the optical flats and interferometers are used for checking the flatness of the slip gauges. But interferometer is more accurate than the optical flat. So the correct answer is interferometer. For angle measurement in metrology, the following pair can be used in conjunction with each other. So for angle measurement, so the sine bar and vernier calipers cannot be used because vernier caliper used for linear dimensions, and sine bar itself cannot be used for measuring the angles. So this is the wrong statement. And similarly, bevel protractor and slip gauges. So this cannot be used for measuring the angle. Bevel protractor itself used for measuring the angle, and the slip gauges are linear measuring. The sine bar and the bevel protractor, these are the other two separate instruments. But in combination with the sine bar, the slip gauge combination and the sine bar can be used for measuring the angle in metrology. So in combination of the slip gauges with the sine bar can be used for measuring the angle. So if you see this statement, for precise angle measured in metrology, sine bar is used with the slip gauges. Sine bar is used with the slip gauges. So the correct option is C. Outside micrometer is calibrated with the help of. The micrometers are calibrated with the slip gauges, right? So this cannot be This is another instrument like outside micrometer. This is also like outside micrometer. These are ring gauges for checking the right shafts, sizes of the shafts. So the micrometers, it may be inside or depth micrometer. So these are calibrated with the slip gauges. Hence the correct option is D. Next, Abe's principle of alignment states that the scale axis must coincide with the line of dash. So in order to answer this question, so we need to understand what is Abe's principle of alignment. The Abe's principle of alignment is named after the German professor Ernest Abe in 1890. He proposed a set of rules for taking linear measurements. So the first principle is, for best results, a linear reading should be taken either inline or sideways of the object. So it should be inline with the coincide with the line of the workpiece. It should be inline or sideways of the workpiece or object. Object or workpiece. Suppose in case if the above is not possible, the measurement can be taken at a distance parallel to the line being measured. In this case, the distance separating the object or workpiece, the scale is known as the Abe offset. The Abe offset introduces the no more than a second order error and is negligible. That is the second statement. The third statement is, if the parallelism between the object and the measuring instrument is not respected, a first order error will be introduced. The error will be a function of the angle the scale makes with the object and the distance separating the two. This error is known as the Abe's error, which is a subset of cosine errors. So this error is calculated using the relation epsilon is equal to d sine theta, where d is the distance between the scale and the line. So these are the three principles used for making the linear measurements. So the first choice is linear readings should be taken either in line with the workpiece or sideways of the workpiece. So it should be in line with the workpiece. So the correct answer is in line with the workpiece. Next, the combination of slip gauges to obtain the dimension of 10.35 mm will be. So in any set of slip gauge box, no slip gauge is less than 0.5 mm. No slip gauge dimension is thickness is less than 0.5 mm. So here there is a 0.05 mm. This is wrong. And here it is less than 0.35. It is also wrong. It is also less than 0.5. This is also wrong. So the correct answer is B. So the normal procedure is, first we have to start with the last digit. So 0.005 is not available. So we can choose 1.05 mm. So the remaining dimension left is 9.3. Then we will start the last digit as 3. So no 0.3. So we have to choose 1.3 mm slip gauge. Then there is a 8 mm slip gauge. So this is the 8, 1.3 and 1.05. So the correct option is B. A straight edge is inspected on a coordinate measuring machine. The readings obtained intervals of 100 mm long. The top edge has 100.1, 100.5, 100.4 mm. The straightness error making the end points of references. So here we will take the slope. So this is y minus 100.01. Y minus 100.1 divided by x minus 100. So this y variation and this is the x variation. X minus 100, this is y minus 0.100.1. So what is the end readings difference? 0.3. So this is 100 and this is 100. Total is 200. Therefore, so we can obtain y relation. So and if you find x is equal to 200, at x is equal to 200, y is equal to, if you substitute x is equal to 200 here, you will get y is equal to 100.25. Therefore, error is equal to y minus, this middle point is 100.5. So y is equal to 100.25. So error is equal to y minus 100.5. 100.25 minus 100.5, the error is 0.25 mm. In an interference microscope, a groove produces a band distortion of 4-band spacing if the wavelength of the monochromatic light source is 0.5 microns. The groove depth is, so the groove depth is calculated as d is equal to h by 2 into lambda by 2, where h is equal to 4 and lambda equal to 0.5. So upon substitution, we will get 0.5 micrometer. To obtain dimension of 61.18 mm using slip gauges, the most appropriate combination is, as we already said that no slip gauge is thickness with a point less than 0.5 mm. Right? So this option is wrong because it is less than 0.5 and it is also less than 0.5. This also option is also wrong. And this is, so we need to start with the last digit. So 1.18. So 1.18, we have to choose one slip gauge. 1.18. So which is available. If not available, then you can use 1.08. So 1.18 slip gauge is available. So you will get the remaining dimension as 60. So this 60 directly is not available. Then we use 50 mm slip gauge and 10 mm slip gauge. So the correct option is A. A V block is produced with a 90-degree angle cutter. The height difference measured over two standard rollers of diameter difference 10 mm placed in this V block is 12.138. So we need to derive the expression to find the error in the angle of the V block. So in this problem solved by considering it is a roller problem. So we have to place one roller here and then we have to take the, what is the height, H2. This is the reference line. And again you place a larger roller and then you place what is H1. So here the standard rollers of diameter difference 10 mm is placed. So what is diameter difference? D1 minus D2 is equal to 10 mm. So you will get R1 minus R2 is equal to 5 mm. So half of the diameter, R1 minus R2 is equal to 5 mm. And H1 minus H2 is given, H1 minus H2. Height difference is given 12.138 mm. Now, so we need to find out the error. So as it is a V is a 90-degree, V block is produced with a 90-degree angle cutter. So we need to find out first what is theta, right? Theta by 2. Theta by 2. So let us to find out this. So this is the center of the bigger roller and this is the center of the smaller roller. This is the center distance between the two rollers. And then in order to find out the angle, this is theta by 2. Let us you drop a perpendicular and then you draw a line from this roller parallel to this. Parallel to this. This line and this line should be parallel. So this is actually so this is the center of the, this is C1 and this is C2. This is center distance and this is the V. So we have to draw a parallel line and then you drop a perpendicular. Okay. So here is 90 degrees. So this radius is R2. This radius is R1. So this distance is equal to R2 minus R1. And this vertical height is equal to this H1 minus R2. H1 minus this is right H1. So we have to subtract this radius. So from the figure, H1 is equal to H2. This is H2 plus this distance C1 C2 minus R2 plus this height is R1. This height is R1. Therefore, you can find out C1 C2, right? C1 C2. So H1 minus R1 gives this point. H1 minus this let us, this diameter is R2. H1 minus R2. You will get up to this point. So and you need to find out what is this height. So that is equal to plus H2 minus R1. This is also minus, right? This difference will give the C1 C2. This difference will give the C1 C2. So C1 C2 is equal to H1 minus R2 minus H2 minus R1. This is R1. So by substituting the values, so as you know, H1 and R1, so we will get the value C1 C2 is equal to 7.138. So H1 minus H2 is given 12.138 and the difference between R1 minus R2 is also given. R1 minus R2 is also given. So this becomes H1 minus H2 minus, so let us, if you take R1 minus R2. So 12.138 minus 5, we will get 7.138. Therefore, from this, what is sin theta? This is the theta by 2. So what is sine theta by 2? Or if you consider this as theta, this is opposite side divided by hypotenuse. This a into, this is nothing but this a into c1, this is c2. A into c1 by c1 c2. So theta becomes 44.465. It is a half angle. So we need to find out the another half. So by multiplying this with the 2, so you will get a 1.07 44.465 degree. So by making it twice, you will get 89 point something. So therefore the error is 90 minus this 2 times 44.465 will give us the 1.07 degree. So this is C1, C2. So in this way we have to solve the problem. So here the problem, the difference is given, diameter difference is given, R1 minus R2, or D1 minus D2 is given 10 mm. Therefore R1 minus R2 becomes 5 mm. And H1 minus H2 is also given 12.138 mm. So by using this, we can calculate what is C1, C2. So by subtracting the R2 value, that is the radius of the bigger roller. From H1, you will get C2 point. And in order to get C1 point, you have to subtract H2 minus R1. H2 minus R1. So by using this procedure, we can find out what is theta. And then you find out the error by subtracting the twice this angle from the 90 degree. Next problem is end standards are used for precision component inspection. This is the correct statement. In end standards, a line of measurement coincides with the line of indication. So this statement is false. So assertion is correct and reason is false. The combination of slip gauges to obtain dimension of 10.35 mm will be. So we can eliminate the answers by remembering this. No slip gauge thickness is less than 0.5 mm in any of the slip gauge box. So this statement is wrong. Answer is wrong. And this is also wrong. This is also wrong. So the correct option is B. So otherwise we have to do this, right? Start with the last digit and then we will choose, right? 1.05, one slip gauge. The remaining dimension 10.2, 9.3, 1.05 slip gauge is over, 9.3, then 8 mm slip gauge 1 and 1.3 mm slip gauge another one. Abe's principle of alignment is used in measurements made in. So for understanding this, we need to know this. So by design, vernier calipers does not conform to the Abe's rule of alignment. So the vernier calipers does not conform to the Abe's rule of alignment. It is therefore possible to introduce Abe's errors when taking measurements with the vernier calipers. So on the other hand, micrometers follow the principle. Micrometers follows the Abe's principle. So that means no error of this type can be introduced when using the micrometers. So in the micrometer screw threads, we use the Abe's principle of alignment. So there is no error in the Abe's error in the screw thread micrometers. But when we use the vernier calipers, they do not conform the Abe's rule of alignment. So that introduces the Abe's error. So Abe's principle is used in micrometers, not in the vernier calipers. With reference to the figure given, write down the equation relating to the dimension h with the diameter capital D and angle alpha. If a unit increase in D has to result in a unit increase in h, what should be the angle alpha? So this is the problem is given. So this is the same as previous problem. So here we have the roller. So we have the roller. So this is the V. And this is the center of the roller. So from this, you calculate what is the angle. What is the angle? So this angle is 2 alpha. This is if you draw a perpendiculars here and here. So here is a 90 degree and here also 90 degree. So total angle is 2 alpha. So what is alpha? So this is alpha. And this is also alpha. So from this, you can find out. So what is the sine alpha by 2? Sine alpha by 2 equal to, so this, what is this one? This is diameter by 2. And what is this? This length. What is this length? Either this length or this length. This, right? This length. So up to this it is h. Up to this it is h. This is d by 2. H plus d by 2 divided by h plus d by 2. D by 2 divided by h plus d by 2. Therefore, sine alpha by 2 is equal to d by, if you simplify this, you will get d by 2h plus d. In this, if you increase d by d plus 1, h will also increase by h plus 1. H plus 1. By substituting this, sine alpha by 2 is equal to, in place of d, you can write d plus 1. In place of h, you can write h plus 1. So we will get the relation. So this is let us equation 1 and this is the equation 2. From equation 1 and 2, if you equate this, what you will get? Diameter. So 2d is equal to 2h, therefore d is equal to h. Substituting d is equal to h in this relation, equation 1, sine alpha by 2 is equal to 1 by 3. Therefore, alpha you will get 38.94 degree. Alpha is equal to 38.94 degree. Slip gauges are calibrated by outside micrometer. So here the statement is false. The outside micrometers or inside micrometers or vernier calipers are calibrated by slip gauges, but the slip gauges are not calibrated by outside micrometers. Because the reverse of this statement is true, but slip gauges are calibrated by using the direct comparison with calibration grade gauges using a comparator. Slip gauges are calibrated. So slip gauges are calibrated by direct comparison with calibration grade gauges using a comparator. Not slip gauges are not calibrated by outside micrometer. The least count of a 200 mm long spirit level is given as 10 seconds per division. The gradient of the spirit level expressed in mm over 1 meter is. So the gradient formula is given by the that is sensitivity of spirit level. So this is 10 seconds per division. You convert into degrees by multiplying with 60, you will get minutes. Again, if you multiply with 60, you will get degrees. So by multiplying with pi by 180, you will get this in radians. So this is the per meter, right? For 1000 mm, you have to calculate. For 1 meter, for 1 mm, this is the angular angle, right? Per division. And what is on 1 meter length? So that is 0.05 mm, 0.05 meter per 0.05 meter per meter length. Apes principle of alignment is followed in. So already we discussed the Apes principle, either vernier caliper or depth vernier, internal caliper, micrometer, height vernier. So vernier calipers does not follow the Apes principle. Vernier, right? Vernier calipers or depth vernier or height vernier. So this cannot follows the Apes principle of alignment. By design, vernier calipers does not conform to the Apes rule of alignment. It is therefore possible to introduce Apes errors when taking measurements with the vernier calipers. But micrometers follows the principle. That means no error of this type can be introduced when using it. So internal caliper micrometer. Micrometers conforms to the Apes rule of alignment. Auto collimator is used to check. So let us see the applications of auto collimator. This instrument can be used for measurement of small angular differences, changes or deflection, plane surface inspection, etc. So we can measure the straightness and flatness of the surfaces, precise angular indexing in conjunction with the polygons, comparative measurement using master angles, assessment of squareness and parallelism of components, measurement of small linear dimensions, machine tool adjustment setting. So in these cases, we use the auto collimator. So roughness cannot be checked using the auto collimator. Okay, there is a roughness measuring instruments are there, so that will check. And the flatness can be checked with interferometers and optical flats. So this is also wrong. And automobile balance, this is completely wrong. Only auto collimator can be used for measuring the small angular differences or changes, etc. Primarily, auto collimator used for measuring the angular differences. Next, the bore diameter D of a plane ring having a height of 35 mm was measured using two spherical balls, each of diameter D equal to 25 mm. The ring was placed on a surface table, and then both balls were placed inside the ring. In this position, the height h of the top of the upper ball from the surface table was found to be 42, and the diameter of the ring is. So we need to find out what is the diameter of the ring. So here, the bore diameter of the plane ring having a height of 35 mm was measured using the two spherical balls. So height is given, height of the bore is given 35 mm, and two balls are placed, and diameter equal to 25 mm. Diameter equal to 25 mm. and upper ball from the surface table was found to be 42. This height is given 42. The diameter of the ring. So we need to find out this diameter. We need to find out this diameter. So in order to find out this diameter, so as you know, this length is radius, and this length is also radius because the same diameter. So you will get one diameter. So if you find this, we can easily find out what is the diameter of the ring. So in order to find out this x, so we need to find out this length, this diagonal, this is the radius r1 and this is the radius r2. So r1 plus r2 is the let us the hypotenuse. R1 plus R2 is the hypotenuse, and we need to find out this. And this length, if you find, you can calculate the x. So in order to find out C1O, so how do you find the C1O? So this total is 35. So 35 minus this radius, you will get this C1O. So diameter of the ring is equal to R1 plus R2, this R1 plus R2 plus OC2, that is. So H is equal to this R2 plus OC1 plus R1, this H. So from this, what is OC1? OC1 is equal to H minus R2 minus R1, or 42 minus 12.5 minus 12.5. You will get OC1 is equal to 17. OC1 is equal to 17. So total height is given, H is equal to 42. So you have to subtract this R1, 12.5. Okay. And also you have to subtract this 12.5. 12.5 plus 12.5, 25. 42 minus 25 will give us 17. So if you know OC1, this is 17 and this is 25. And what is x? So x square plus 17 square is equal to 25 square. Therefore, x is equal to square root of 25 whole square minus 17 whole square. Now you got the x value, that is 18.33 mm. Therefore, diameter of the ring is equal to R1 plus R2 plus OC2. OC2 is nothing but x. R1 is 12.5, R2 is 12.5, OC2 is equal to 18.33. Total is 43.33 mm. Instrument principle of inspection. So here the dial indicator acts as a comparator. And go and no-go gauge is used for a limit of size. And a pneumatic gauge is a non-contact type. So this is the matching. So dial indicator P3. Next Q1 R2. So the correct answer is B. When a cylinder is located in a V block, the number of degrees of freedom which are arrested is. So we have the V block. So the cylinder is located. Cylinder. This is the cylinder. So in this, the cylinder can rotate, can move. So total degrees of freedom is 6. So in the x direction we have 2, y direction we have 2, z direction we have 2. Total 6 degrees of freedom. Out of 6, you can it is not possible to arrest the rotation and translation. So total is 2 degrees of freedom is not arresting. So therefore, how many degrees of freedom we are arresting? 4 degrees of freedom. So the correct answer is B. Next, 2 slip gauges of 10 mm width measuring 1.0 mm and 1.02 mm are kept side by side in contact with each other lengthwise. An optical flat is kept resting on the slip gauges shown in the figure. And a monochromatic light of wavelength is used in the inspection. The total number of straight fringes that can be observed on both slip gauges is. So this is the formula we use for finding the number of straight fringes. Delta H is equal to n by 2 into lambda by 2. Delta H is the height difference 1 mm and 1.002 mm. The difference is 0.002 mm. And the lambda value is 0.0058928. Therefore, from this formula, calculate what is the n value. So 4 into delta H divided by lambda. So you will get approximately 2 fringes. Next, a displacement sensor, that is a dial indicator, is placed over the are used for measuring the lateral displacement of mandrel mounted on the taper hole inside a drill spindle. So this is the drill spindle. Inside the drill spindle there is a taper hole. So that taper hole is inserted with in that taper hole mandrel is mounted. The mandrel axis is an extension of the drill spindle taper hole axis, and the protruding portion of the mandrel surface is perfectly cylindrical. So here we have the 2 portions. One is the conical portion, and then there is a straight portion. This is the straight portion. So on this, the dial indicator is provided to measure the deviations. Measurements are taken with the sensor placed at 2 points P and Q as shown in the figure. The readings are recorded as Rx, maximum deflection, minus minimum deflection, corresponding to a sensor position X over 1 rotation. So we are rotating this mandrel and we are observing the difference, maximum deflection, and what is the minimum deflection. If Rp equal to Rq greater than 0, which one of the following would be consistent with the observation? Because here Rp is equal to Rq, so that means the drill spindle rotational axis is parallel to the drill spindle taper hole axis. Otherwise, Rp is not equal to Rq. If Rp is equal to Rq means the reading of P sensor and the reading of Q sensor is same means, so there is no rotational error in the mandrel. So the drill spindle rotational axis is parallel to the drill spindle taper hole axis. So no error in the rotational axis of the drill spindle and the mandrel. An experimental setup is planned to determine the taper of workpiece as shown in figure. If the 2 precision rolls have radii 8 mm and 5 mm, and the total thickness of slip gauges inserted between the roller is 15.54. So here this is the length of the slip gauges, 15.54 mm, and this bigger roller is radius 8 mm. This is total is 8 mm, and this is 5 mm. So we need to find out the taper angle. So this is similar to this problem, same as this problem. So here we need to find out, and this top surface is parallel to this surface, So we have this, and then it is this one. So this is the roller. So this is also a roller. We have the bigger roller. And this is R1. Let us, this is R1 or 5 mm. So in order to get this height, total 8 minus 5, this is 3 mm. This is 3 mm. So this angle is equal to opposite side by this tan theta is equal to opposite side by adjacent side. Adjacent side is this. So this is same as this slip gauge length plus this up to this, it is a radius of this bigger roller, and up to this here it is a radius of the smaller roller. That means tan theta is equal to, this difference is 3 mm divided by slip gauge length is 15.54 plus what is the radius of smaller and bigger, 8 plus 5. So find out the theta. If you find the theta is equal to 12.001. 12.001. Actually it is theta by 2. So you will get theta by 2 is equal to 6.006. So this angle is theta by 2. So this angle is theta. Therefore theta is equal to 12.001 degree theta. So by using this formula, we can calculate the angle. So the correct option is D. An autocollimator is used to measure, right? So autocollimator is an optical instrument that is used to measure the small angular differences. So measuring the small angular displacements on flat surfaces. We can straight away choose. Okay, it is not a comparator, right? It cannot measure the roundness error or flatness error. So it can measure the angular deviations on the flat surfaces. Next, straightness measurement is carried out using a device shown below. Initially, a device is kept on a reference surface and the dial is set to 0 on the surface. The following readings are obtained at different positions. 4 positions we got the readings. So we need to sketch the straightness deviations using the above readings. So let us take the position X, and what about the readings? At position 1, there is a +2. At position 2, it is a 0. Position 3, it is -1. And position 4, it is +1. These values are given. Now we calculate the maximum straightness using the endpoint reference line. So the line connecting the points 1 and 4, endpoints are 1 and 4. So using the linear regression equation, y is equal to ax plus b. So substitute x is equal to 1, y is equal to 2. X is equal to 4, y is equal to 1. By substituting, you will get this is 1. At x is equal to 1, y is equal to 2. X is equal to 4, y is equal to 1. So y is equal to 1 is equal to 4a plus b. This is one equation. And at x is equal to 1, y is equal to 2. So 2 is equal to a plus b. So by solving these two equations, you will get a equal to 1 by 3, b equal to 7 by 3. Therefore, the regression equation is equal to y is equal to 1/3 x plus 7 by 3. Now at x is equal to 3, what you will get? Y is equal to 4 by 3. So maximum deviation is equal to 4 by 3 minus of minus 1, that is equal to 7/3. Or since 1 division is equal to 10 micrometer, 1 division is equal to 10 micrometer. A taper hole is inspected using a CMM with a probe of 2 mm diameter at a height Z is equal to 10 mm. That here 10 mm. The bottom 5 points are touched and a diameter circle is obtained as 20 mm. So here the diameter is 20. Similarly, a 40 mm diameter is obtained. 40 mm diameter is obtained. Here 40 mm. At Z is equal to 40. Z is equal to 40. The smaller diameter of the hole at Z is equal to 0. So we need to find out this diameter. So to find out this diameter, so we need to calculate. So this is the angle theta. So this is also angle theta. So this total distance is 20. So here also 20. This becomes 10 and this becomes 10. Therefore, what is tan theta? Tan theta is equal to this 10 by this. This is equal to total 40 minus 10, 30. You will get 1/3. Similarly, if you draw a line here and here, so let us this is x, this is also x. So if you find this x value, you can calculate what is the diameter. So tan theta is equal to x by this height. This height is 10, x by 10. Tan theta is equal to x by 10. So already you know tan theta value 1/3. So 1/3 is equal to x by 10. Therefore, you can calculate x value. So as we calculated the x value, we can calculate what is the d. So this d is equal to, so this total distance is 20 minus, you have to subtract this x and this x. 20 minus 2x is the d value. So you will get 13.334 mm. Observation of slip gauge on flatness interferometer produced fringe counts numbering 10 and 14 for 2 readings. The second reading is taken by the rotating the setup by 180 degrees. Assuming both the faces of the slip gauge are flat and the wavelength of the radiation is 0.5086 micrometer. The parallelism error. So parallelism error is calculated using this formula. So difference between the fringes, right? Fringe counts divided by 2 into half of the wavelength. So 14 minus 10, 14 is the N2, N1 is 10 divided by 2 into wavelength divided by 2. So we'll get 0.5086. The correct answer is C. A sine bar has a length of 250 mm. Each roller has a diameter of 20 mm. During taper angle measurement of a component, the height from the surface plate to the center of the roller is 100 mm. The calculated taper angle is. So here length of the sine bar is given. Length of the sine bar is given 250. And the diameter of the roller is given. This is 20 and this is 20. Okay. And the h is given. H. How do you calculate this h? H is equal to the height from the surface plate to the center of the roller is 100 mm. Up to this is 100 mm. So up to this is 100 mm. So 100 minus this d by 2, right? Diameter by 2. 100 minus diameter is 20 by 2. That means 90 mm. Therefore, by applying the sine principle, so this h is equal to 90. This length is equal to 250. So sin theta is equal to h by L. So from this you can calculate what is the theta, 21.1 degree. The correct answer is A. The diameter of a recessed ring was measured by using two spherical balls of diameter D2 60 mm, D1 40 mm. The distance H2 and H1 is already also given. The diameter of the ring gauge is. So we need to find out the diameter. Okay. So that is this. So this diameter D we need to find out. So in order to find out this, so you know this value, this is diameter and this is the diameter of the smaller ball. If you know this AB, you can by adding this AB plus this radius, let us R1 bigger roller, R2 smaller roller. So by adding this, you will get this total diameter of the ring. So for finding this, either you have to know either CB and AC. You have to find out CB and AC. So BC value you can find out as BC. So total is height is up to this is it is H1 and this is H2. So what we will get H2 minus H1. H2 this is H1 and if you subtract this you will get, right, you will get H2 plus D by 2. Up to this you will get minus H1 plus D by 2. Up to this you will get. Right? If you subtract this length H1 plus D by 2 minus H2 plus D by 2, you will get the BC. BC is equal to H2 plus D by 2 up to a point you will get minus, so you have to subtract H1 plus D by 2, then only you will get BC. So that value is 25 mm. Then AC, how do you find out AC? This is the radius and this is also radius by adding these two radiuses. Bigger diameter roller radius is 60 by 2 and the smaller diameter roller radius is 40 by 2. You will get 50 and this is equal to 50 and this is equal to 25. Now you can find out what is this by applying the Pythagoras theorem. So 50 square is equal to 25 square plus R square. Therefore, AB is equal to square root of 50 square minus 25 whole square, 43.30. Therefore, diameter of the ring gauge is equal to 60 by 2 plus 43.30 plus 40 by 2. The flatness of the machine bed can be measured using. So vernier calipers cannot be used, height gauge cannot be used, toolmaker's microscope also cannot be used for measuring the flatness of the machine bed. Only the auto collimator is used for measuring the flatness of the machine bed. Flatness of the machine bed can be measured using auto collimator. Vernier calipers is used for measuring the either length or width or thickness or depth. We can measure. Height gauge is also we can use for measuring the heights. Toolmaker's microscope for tool screw threads measurements. Auto collimator only used for measuring the flatness of the machine bed. Which one of the following instruments is widely used to check and calibrate the geometric features of machine tools during their assembly? So 4 options are given. Ultrasonic probe. This is mainly finds its use in the field of non-destructive techniques, but not the geometric features. So this is wrong. And coordinate measuring machine is used for measuring the geometry related dimension of a single product only. Single product only. It is not assembled. It is only for single product. And vernier calipers is used for only measuring the length or width dimensions. For calibrating the geometric features of machine tools during their assembly, so we can use laser interferometer. Laser interferometer. The alignment test spindle spare with the base plate is applied to the radial drilling machine. A radial indicator is fixed to the cylindrical spindle and the spindle is rotated to make the indicator touch the base plate at different points. The test inspects whether they. So in order to understand this, so here we need to understand the diameter indicator. So it is a device which performs a function as a comparator. So this is used for a faster and accurate measurement in measurement technique. The most important advantage of using diameter indicator is that even a less skilled person can perform the task of completed measurement very easily. So if during measurement while moving one base plate, moving on base plate, it makes one revolution, then it is mean that the base plate is perpendicular to the spindle of instrument. If there is no error, that means the base plate is perpendicular to the spindle of the instrument. Perpendicularity checking. So that means the spindle rotational axis is perpendicular to the base plate. For the situation shown in the figure below, the expression for H in terms of R, capital R, D is small r, capital R and D, H. So here, so in order to find out the H up to this, it is a height H. Capital H. Capital H is equal to, so this radius is capital R and this radius is small r plus AB. So capital H is equal to capital R plus small r plus AB. If you find the AB, if you find this AB, you can calculate the capital H. So how do we calculate AB? As you know, AC, capital R plus small r. And AB you want to find out. This AB is equal to capital R plus small r whole square, that is hypotenuse whole square, minus, what is this? This length is, this is small r, this is capital R, and the total is capital D. Total is capital D. So capital D minus capital R minus small r whole square. So it is a square minus b square formula, a plus b into a minus b. By simplifying this, so you can get AB is equal to this one. By adding this, write AB here, you will get H is equal to capital R plus small r square root of 2D into capital R plus small r minus d square. The correct option is capital D. D. Two optically flat plates of glass are kept at a small angle theta as shown in the figure. Monochromatic light is incident vertically. If the wavelength of light is used to get a fringe spacing of 1 mm is 450. The wavelength of light to get the fringe spacing of 1.5 mm is. So here we know the relation fringe spacing n is equal to lambda into capital D by small d. So here the fringe spacing is directly proportional to wavelength. Is directly proportional to the wavelength. So for 1 mm spacing it is 450. For 1.5 mm we can calculate 1.5 into 450. So that is the wavelength of the fringe spacing 1.5 mm. You will get 675 mm. Accuracy of a measuring instrument is expressed as. So as we studied the accuracy and the precision, so what is error? So error is equal to measured value minus true value. So it may be modulus. Right? By providing the true value, you will get the error, percentage error. And we need the accuracy, 1 minus error, 1 minus error. So 1 minus true value minus measured value divided by true value. right? The correct option is C. The height in mm for a 125 mm sine bar to measure the taper of 27 degree 32 minutes on a flat workpiece is. So here the length is h is given, height h is given. The height for a 125 mm sine bar, sorry. So here so length L is equal to 125 mm and theta is equal to 27 degree 32 minutes is given. So we need to find out what is the h. H is equal to L into sine theta. So it is a direct application. H is equal to L into sine theta. So you'll get h is equal to 57.783. So L is 125 into sine 27 degree 32 minutes. Which one of the following instruments makes use of the principle of interference of light? So optical flats uses the interference of light. Autocollimators cannot, optical projectors cannot, coordinate measuring machines cannot. Optical flats uses the principle of interference of light. So in a sine bar, let h is denotes the height of the slip gauge and L be the distance between the rollers. The relationship between the error in angular theta and errors in slip gauge combination of the spacing rollers dl is given by. So as you know, h is equal to L into sine theta. So in order to get the relation, so we need to differentiate this with respect to theta. Partial differentiation. So dh by d theta is equal to, so L you keep it as it is, and the sine theta differentiation is cos theta plus and sine theta into as it is and dl by d theta. And what is dh from this? Dh is equal to L into cos theta d theta plus sine theta into dl. Therefore, from this dh by dh minus sine theta into dl is equal to L into cos theta d theta. So therefore, d theta is equal to dh by L into cos theta minus sine theta divided by cos theta into dl by L. So in this sine theta by cos theta is tan theta. So d theta is equal to, if you take tan theta out, tan theta you will get dh by L cos theta into tan theta, or tan theta I can write this as sine theta by cos theta minus dl by L. So here cos theta gets cancelled, you will get L sine theta. But what is h is equal to L sine theta. H is equal to L sine theta. Therefore, d theta is equal to tan theta into dh by, so here L sine theta we can write h minus dl by L. So there is the relation between d theta and dh dl. So the two rollers of diameters d1 and d2 are used to measure the internal taper angle of the V groove of a machined component. The heights h1 and h2 are measured by using the height gauge after inserting the rollers into the same V groove as shown in the figure. So which of the following is the correct relationship to evaluate the angle alpha? So this we have already seen. So let us first we place the smaller roller and then we place the bigger roller. This height is h1. Height is h1. H1 is the height that is bigger roller, and H2 is the height of the smaller roller. So here we need to apply the ring gauge principle. So what is sine theta by 2 from this relation? So this is O and B. OB. OB, you can get this H1 minus this diameter of the bigger roller is D2. H1 minus, let us this diameter D1 is greater than D2. D1 is larger one. That is H1 minus D1 by 2. H1 minus D1 by 2. Up to this you will get. Next. So we want this height. You know this, right? You have to subtract this. So what is this height? This is up to this is H2. H2 minus this is D2 by 2. H1 minus D1 by 2 minus H2 minus D2 by 2 is OB. And this is R1 radius. This is R2. R2 minus R1. R1 minus R2. R D1 by 2 minus D2 by 2. Therefore, sine theta or sine alpha by 2, sine alpha is equal to, this opposite side is D1 minus D2 by 2 divided by this H1 minus D1 by 2 minus H2 minus D2 by 2. So upon simplification, you will get D1 minus D2 by 2 into, right, this is this D1 by 2 minus, right. So upon simplification, H1 minus H2 minus D1 minus D2 by 2. Okay. So we have, by simplifying this, you will get, so D1 minus D2 divided by 2 into, right, you can write as H1 minus H2, H1 minus H2 minus D1 minus D2. D1 minus D2. So that means the correct option is A. The least count of a metric vernier caliper having 25 divisions on vernier scale matching with 24 divisions on the main scale. One main scale division is equal to 0.5 mm. So least count here 24 divisions is approximately equal to 25 divisions. So least count is equal to 1 MSD minus 1 VSD. So 1 MSD minus, what is 1 VSD? 1 vernier scale division is equal to, so it is 25 vernier scale divisions is equal to 24 main scale divisions. 1 vernier scale division is equal to 24 by 25 main scale division. So we'll get 1 by 25 main scale divisions. So 1 by 25 into it is 0.5 mm. Therefore, you will get a 0.02 mm. The correct answer is 0.02 mm. Standards to be used for reference purposes in laboratories and workshops are termed as. So in order to solve this, we need to understand what is primary standards, secondary standards, tertiary standards, and working standards. Primary standards are the reference standards or master standards used for comparing the secondary standards. And secondary standards are also called calibration standards used for comparing tertiary standards. And tertiary standards are inspection, are also called inspection standards used for reference purpose in workshops and laboratories. And working standards are also called workshop measuring standards. So the standards used for reference purposes in laboratories and workshops are termed as tertiary standards. In a simple micrometer with a screw pitch 0.5 mm and divisions on a thimble 50, the reading corresponding to 5 divisions on barrel and 12 divisions on the thimble is. So here the screw pitch is 0.5 mm. That means if you rotate the thimble through 50 divisions, the axial advancement is 0.5 mm. So 5 divisions on the barrel. 5 divisions on the barrel. So 5 divisions on the barrel is equal to 5 into 0.5. You will get 2.5 mm. And 12 divisions on the thimble is equal to 50 divisions is equal to 0.5 mm. 12 divisions is equal to 12 into 0.5 by 50. So total reading is equal to 2.62 mm. So here we have the main scale divisions and there is a thimble. The vernier reading should not be taken at its face value before an actual check has been taken for. So without considering the or setting the vernier reading, right, we cannot use for measurement of the purpose. The vernier reading should not be taken at its face value before an actual check has been taken for zero error. Because if we take face value before an actual check, then there may be a probability of error which will give wrong readings in the measuring of our experiments. So for that, first we have to check whether it shows the zero error or not. If it is not showing zero error, you can make it with a zero error. Then you can use for measurement of the dimensions. A master gauge is, so you need to understand what is master gauge. A master gauge is a standard gauge or a measuring device of standard size used for either checking or measuring the accuracy of the gauges or calibration of other measuring instruments in the shop floors. So it is not a new gauge. It is an international reference standard. A standard gauge for checking accuracy of gauges used in the shop floors. This is also wrong. Optical square is engineer's square having stock and blade set at 90 degrees. A constant deviation prism having the angle of deviation between the incident ray and the reflected ray equal to 90 degrees. So this is the principle of the optical square. A sine bar is specified by, so as we have seen, the sine bar is specified by its center distance between the two rollers. Center distance between the two rollers. Center distance between the two rollers. So this is the matching of the list 1 and the list 2 and select the correct answer using the codes given below. So we have the diffraction grating, optical flat, autocollimators and laser scan micrometer. So here the optical flat is used for measuring the autocollimators are used for measuring the small small angular deviations. Autocollimators used for small angular deviations. Next, very small deflections, so you can measure using the optical flats. Surface texture using interferometer. And laser scan interferometer online of moving parts. parts. So in this way, we can choose the correct answer is D. Diffraction grating is for measurement of very small displacements. So these are the various questions given in the GATE exams from the various in the various years. So this material is prepared by referring the all these references. So with thanks to all for which who helped this for preparing the material. Thank you.